we'll try this again. It is February the 3rd. Here we go. So, all the kids have received this, and I've kind of already explained it, but I had to delete that lovely first video. So, here we go. All it is a ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. Meaning,
I need to borrow a calculator because I don't have one. For my math, for my social studies work, we got to do some math and all that.
Teachers and students, pardon this interruption. Zach Spa, if you are in the building, please come to the student office. Also, Gael Martinez, I need you in the student office also.
Thank you.
That's Gael Martinez and Zach Spa. Please come to the student office.
okay, now, for the third round of me trying this video, here we go. Okay, so a ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. All it means is we're going to compare how many cats there are to how many dogs, how many shoes to how many socks. We're going to compare two things. The ratios are written three different ways. Please write these. These are examples. Okay. One is what I call the dot dot, meaning like if we say I have 4 cats to every 5 dogs, putting a dot dot in the middle. It's a way of writing it. Okay? The second one is what I call the word to, meaning they just literally write the word to in between it. T-O. Please get with me, guys. And the third way is the fraction way, meaning 4 over 5, meaning with a fraction bar. The main way 6th graders write them is with fraction bars. That's just the way it is. Now, we're going to be doing ratios today, comparing two things. Tomorrow, we will be doing the rates and talking about unit rates. You guys know what rates and unit rates are because when I say the words miles per hour, you can think of your car or the speed limit. That is a rate, okay? The reason it is a rate is it is a ratio comparing two different units. And so all I mean by that is when I say like miles per hour, if you think about the measurements, it's comparing miles, which is distance, to hours, which is time. They really don't have anything to do with each other at all, but they are two different units or two different measurements. We'll be doing this later in the week. Okay? But it is still a ratio. I mean, still a rate is a ratio because it's comparing. I'm just been talking too much, I guess. I don't know. Okay, now, here is the main thing about ratios. Whatever they say first, you got to list first. So if they say dogs to cats, and it's 4 to 5, if you list it 5 to 4, it's wrong. So there's a lot of pickiness when it comes to grading words and all that. Here we go. You okay? Okay, so there are 3 things that are required, especially on these first couple ones. Okay, the first one is we're going to write each ratio as a fraction. That's kind of like the first thing we're going to do. Pull out the information out of the picture, the words, whatever. Okay, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to write it in simplest form. So we're going to have to simplify the fraction. Then the last thing is we're going to have to explain its meaning. That's kind of the real wordy part. Okay? So, please look at number 1 here. Okay, and I need you to look at the words because it's not just a picture, there's words above it. And if you do not list them the way it's listed, we got a problem. Okay. Do you see the word two? Okay. First is pens. 2 pencils. That means pens has to be listed first. So, I count my pens. Pens. There are 6 pens. Pens has to be listed first because it's listed first in the question. To pencils. Yeah, 8 pencils. Now, what you've just done is written a ratio, and it's kind of like the yellow version or the highlighter yellow, meaning you wrote it as a fraction. Step 2 is now we got to simplify it. What goes into a 6 and an 8? 2. So, how many 2s are in 6? 3. How many 2s are in 8? 4. So, put your words describing it. Pens, pencils. This is why I said this is a lot of writing, and you just kind of have to deal with it, I guess. Now, the last thing is what I call explaining it, or using a sentence. Okay. You're using the simplified fraction, but we have to put special words in it. Meaning, this is a boring ratio, comparing what I call 2 different things. When I'm comparing 2 different things, I'm going to need the words for every. 2 different things. Cats to dogs, socks to shoes. I don't care what it is. 2 different things. So when I write this description, I write 3 pens for every, there's the key words, right there, for every 4 pencils. Luckily, we don't have to have exactly like complete sentences, but you've got to write the whole description. There's kind of like 3 things for each one of these. Okay, so looking at the next one, they want us to compare pennies to dimes. So this one's a penny, penny, penny. So 3 pennies.
9.
Yes, 9 dimes. Okay, and that's kind of that original answer. Now I want to simplify it, and I usually just use equals. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9, 3. So, this is going to be my simplified answer. Please be spelling this stuff right. There's no reason not to when it's listed right there. And then the last thing is the explanation. So, 1 penny for every, there's the key words, 3 dimes. Another thing, if it is improper, so if it happened to say 3 dimes to 1 penny, it's okay. We just leave them. It's kind of hard to get used to. Okay, so let's do number 3. A theater, like a movie theater, is showing 8 romantic comedies and 12 action thrillers. Now, what is the ratio of action thrillers to romantic comedies? So, action thrillers has to be listed first, which is 12. It doesn't matter how they list them in the story. You got to list them how they ask. Thrillers. Okay. 12 action thrillers to 8 romantic comedies. Now, one hint for today. I actually ran these off kind of wrong, meaning homework's on a separate piece of paper. So if you needed to flip it over and do some on the back, you could. Or if you need to on homework tonight, that's fine. Just bring it. Yes?
Could you abbreviate action thrillers like to AT?
To what?
Could you abbreviate like action thrillers?
Try not to. I really need full words, guys. Full words. Now, what does 12 and 8 simplify to? Or by? 4 would be the best. 3 and 2. Meaning 4 goes into 12 how many times? 3. 4 goes into 8. 2. If you simplify the top and the bottom by 4, it's just going to be the fastest answer. Please turn around. So, 3 action thrillers to 2 romantic comedies. Now the last thing with the explanation. Okay. 3 action thrillers, and you cannot swap them up, guys. Keep them in the same order. For every I'm trying 2 romantic comedies. I just don't want to flip my paper over because I'm recording and I want y'all to be able to see it.
Wait, I have space in between mine, so
That's fine.
can I just like write for every one?
Yeah, I crammed it in on another class. I just wrote bigger for the video purpose. Yes.
Could you just abbreviate instead of writing?
Please write it out. Please write it out. Please write it out. We got to write it out, guys. It's going to be a lot of writing this week. Just going to be honest.
I know we never test on them.
We kind of have this thing we're calling Test 1 on Friday, and because it's like the first chunk of what we're doing, and it's only like 51 points, I think, and then we'll do a second test next Friday. It is more of how to do it, like what to put, than it is, I don't know, it's like steps, I guess, you got to memorize. Yes?
I think it evens out because I think this is one of our easier topics.
Yes.
But you have to write it down.
Yes. To me, it is an easier topic. You're right. It just has a lot of writing in it, unfortunately. Now, this next part is kind of the other style of what they're asking us to do. This is when they use the word total. And I need you to see the word total. We all know that a total means we're going to add it all up. Well, now instead of comparing like shoes to socks, we might compare shoes to maybe sneakers to all the shoes in the shoe store. Or maybe I compare kids in my math class to all the kids in the entire school. A total. Now, when we use total, when they ask total, we have to change our fancy wording to out of. We'll get there in a second. So, reading this one, it says, last month, Edward ate 9 apples, 5 bananas, 4 peaches, and 7 oranges. Find the ratio of bananas to the total number of pieces of fruit Edward ate last month. Then explain its meaning. Now, you always want to go back and make sure what you're comparing. They want a ratio of bananas to total number of pieces of fruit. So, looking back up in my story, it was 5 bananas, But total fruit, I got to add 9 plus 5 plus 4 plus 7. 25. 9 plus 5 is 14, 18, 19, 20, and then 5 more, 25. So 25 total pieces of fruit. That's kind of like the first way to write it, with the numbers given to you. Step 2 is to simplify it. What goes into 5 and 25? 5. So now it is 1 banana to 5 total pieces of fruit. Okay, and don't flip them over. If they say banana first, you got to keep banana first. Okay, and the last thing is explaining it, but using the word total. So, 1 banana. I'm going to do this. There we go. 1 banana out of, there's our keywords, 5 total pieces of fruit. Out of, keyword there. When you see the word total. Okay, so those are just the ways to write what I call boring ratios. Usually it's pretty simple. Y'all get it. Count, simplify, all that good stuff. Now it hits the weird stuff. Okay. When we usually split things up or divide them up, we usually split things evenly. So if I pass out papers, I give everybody 1 paper. But if I give him 2 papers, then everybody else gets 2 papers. It's kind of like, it's just easy that way. Even if I'm planning a trip or something and I pack 5 drinks for 1 kid, I'm packing 5 drinks for each kid. So it's even. That's what makes it easy. What is happening in this next thing is, we're going to divide up a group like 28. But now we're going to divide it up what I call not even. Even but not even. Meaning, they want this ratio to be 3 to 4. It's kind of weird. And this is the best way I can explain it. It's kind of like if this side of the room had 3 tables. And over here, there were 4 tables. And I had 28 cans. All they're wanting to know is, how many cans should I carry to this side of the room and let go of? 1. And then, how many cans should I walk to this side of the room of and let go of?
3.
But it's not even. They gave me 28. Now, I have this probably silly method that after I teach this one time, a lot of you will be fine. You won't need my silly method. But I would write it down just one time, and it may help you always get the right answer. Okay? Meaning, let me start with this. Do you see the 2 numbers that for this question I'm going to be working with? I'm going to be working with the number 28. I'm dividing 28 cans of soda into 2 groups so that the ratio is 3 to 4. Do y'all see where I'm getting 28 and 3 to 4? Okay, so I'm not making up out of my head. Like, it's in the math problem. Okay, step 2 is, I'm going to turn my paper sideways because I'm going to need to draw some stuff. Okay, they want me to divide up 28 cans, so I put 28, whatever that total is on top. Guys, I would write down everything I'm doing because this is the weirdest part of the day. Probably the weirdest part of the week, if you want to know the truth. So I have 28 cans. They want me to divide it up into a ratio of 3 to 4. So I write 3 to 4 because that's what they told me to break it up as. Now, this is where the kindergarten part comes in. Ha ha. I draw boxes, and I draw going down. I'm going to draw 3 boxes underneath the 3. And I'm going to draw 4 boxes under the 4. Okay. The reason is, it's almost like the table sitting there that I'm splitting it up by. What I've now got to do, if you don't know what number should go in the box, I'm going to put 1 on each table. So it's like I got 28, and I'm going to go around and put 1 on each table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I would be putting my 1s on each table. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So it's kind of like what number is on each table?
7.
What number, how many dots are on each table? 4. Now, I realize that 7 times 4 is 28. But here's the deal. 7 and 4 are not the answer. The answer is built from how many dashes are on each side. So I need you to count up. 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. And 4 times is 16. That is what they're looking for. So what they're looking for is that I should have walked to this side of the room with 12 cans. It doesn't even matter that there were 3 tables at this point, just 12 cans. And I should walk to that side of the room with 16. But my brain, like the way I think of stuff, it didn't even, there's no way I could have guessed that answer. I would not have ever guessed it right, okay? So this is a method to help you get to the right answer if you need this method.
And that's it?
That is it. But what happens is kids tell me answers like 7, 4, or maybe they'll tell me something like 14 to 21, stuff like that. But listen, I do want to show you one trick. 12 and 16 better add up to what number?
15.
28.
28 to have like the right thing going on. Okay, so let's try the next one. Now that you kind of have a pattern or a method. Okay, the next one says number 6, and I know I'm going to turn it for a second, but it says divide 18 cups of flour into 2 groups. Oops, sorry, there we go. 18 cups of flour into 2 groups so that the ratio is 4 to 5. Uh-huh.
Don't we need to explain?
We could explain. I'm just going to keep going. I forgot. It's okay. We could explain. I'm just going to keep going. It's fine. I think I've forgotten every other class, too. I'm just so excited that y'all are getting it, to be honest. So, do y'all see 18? Do you see 4 to 5?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to turn my paper. I know it's kind of silly, but it's just the best way I can do it. Okay, so 18 on top. Then I write my ratio right below it.
What type of dashes?
So I'm going to draw boxes.
Like how many?
Okay, so 4 to 5, meaning that's how many boxes to draw. Draw 4 down this side. And then 5 down this side.
How many?
Okay, so we got 18 cups. So right now I got 9 boxes. What do you think goes in each box? 2. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I had to breathe. I was like, okay. Now, here's the problem. It's none of those numbers I just said. Add them up. Because the real ratio, the answer is 8 to 10. Adding up all those cans, 8 or whatever they are, cups of flour, to 10 cups of flour.
Well, I like this method.
The boxes works for me. I've been doing it this way a few years, and it's always funny because a lot of you are like, but it's just multiplication tables. I get that. But the problem is a lot of you will walk up to me on this one and say it's 8 to 10. It is 8 to 10. Actually, I guessed that right. I was thinking numbers like 12 to 15, like if I multiply that times 3. You can do this with 3 groups. They can do 3 groups. So they might say 4 to 5 to 2. You won't ever have anything hanging out. Like there should always be the right amount to pass out. Okay? If you need tally marks, use tally marks. If you know which multiplication table you're working with, feel free to use that. It doesn't really matter. Okay? Now, and you can do that on the test. I don't care. It just helps me to get the right answer. Now, this is the actual homework, and I'm going to do as much as I can with you right now in hopes that you get a bunch done before you leave out of here. Yep, I'm going to go as fast as I can. Here we go. I'm trying. Please put it up. I'm tired of folding up paper and letters and cute drawings and whatever else it might be. Here we go. Right here it says ratio and rates homework. Really, it's just ratios right now. This is for Monday. Here we go. I'm going to go as fast and hard as I can. Yeah. Okay, so starting out, it says to write each ratio as a fraction in simplest form, then explain its meaning. So we're back to the 3 steps. Write the ratio as a fraction. Step 2, simplest form. And then step 3 was explain its meaning. I was trying to make sure my colors were matching up. Okay. Now, on this one, it says flutes, 2 drums. Flutes has to be listed first. 4, 2, 2. Okay. 4 flutes. Okay, that's fine. Just tell me. Did y'all not get enough? Somebody? Okay. Okay. 4 flutes to drums. 2 drums. Okay. That is the first one. Now, second step, simplify it. 2 and 1. And 1 is okay, guys. Like, that's a ratio. So we can, if we put 2 into this, we get 2 flutes to 1 drum. And you don't want to simplify it anymore. I'm sorry. Ratios are always 2 numbers. So you got to have both. Okay, last step, explaining its meaning and using the right words. 2 flutes. For every. And yes, I'm still looking at the board. These words are just new for me, so I'm having to, for every 1 drum. Okay, number 2. They want us to compare sandwiches to milk cartons. Okay, sandwiches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 sandwiches.
8.
9, 10 milk cartons. Okay, now that is the numbers in the question. Guys, everybody should at least be on number 2 with me. Second thing, simplify. 4 and 10, 2 and 5, yes. Also, if they have put the word in a sentence, there is no reason to spell it wrong. Get picky. Last thing, explain its meaning. 2 sandwiches. For every 5 milk cartons. We used to have the kids write a complete sentence. So you would have to write, there are 2 sandwiches for every 5 milk cartons. We don't really do that, but we got to at least have the phrase. And be specific. Like, you can't just write 2 to 5. Like, I need words. Okay? You don't just put cartons, put milk cartons, stuff like that. Okay, let's go to number 3. Here we go. On number 3, it says, a class has 6 boys and 15 girls. Right? What is the ratio of boys to girls? That means boys has to be first, girls second. So, please stop. So, if it says boys to girls, 6 boys, I wrote too big. Okay, 6 boys to 15 girls. We don't have to debate every one of these, I promise. Now, 6 and 15 simplify by? You should. 3. 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 goes into 15 5. So it is 2 boys to every 5 girls. Now I'm going to explain it. I'm like writing more than some of you guys are. I don't understand. 2 boys for every 5 girls. Okay, now I'm going to go down to number 9 because it's one of the box questions and do one of those just so we know where the box questions start. On number 9, okay, it says, making sure it's still recording. Okay, it says divide 64 bundles of newspaper into 2 groups so that the ratio is 3 to 5. So, that's where I'm getting my numbers. Okay. Yeah, if you want. I'm just going to do number 9. Here we go. On number 9, if I can find my paper right there. Okay. It is 64 for the big number. And then it is 3 to 5. Yes, and I'll admit, I probably should have done this on the back. Now that I'm realizing what I'm doing. Okay. So, I'm going to draw 3 boxes. 5.
Oh, God.
Now, I'm going to admit, so I don't have to do tally marks. Think about this. How many boxes are there? 8. How many 8s are in 64? 8 times what? 64. 8. So I want you to think about this. If I put 8s in each box, is that going to total 64? Yes. So without having to count tally marks all the way to 64, I'm kind of using my multiplication tables. Now my final answer comes from, the 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 5? 40. There's my final answer. I will do the rest on the back, I promise. I didn't know it was going to be that bad. So I got down here, I got 24 to 40. Okay. I'm going to go up and do number 4 now. Here we go. Okay. Audrey counted 6 motorcycles and 27 cars in the restaurant parking lot. Find the ratio of motorcycles to cars. Motorcycles has to be first. And cars has to be second. Yes. Divide by 3 to simplify it. 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 into 27, 9. That's right. 3 into 6, 2. That's okay. 3 into 27, 9. It is 3 is what you're simplifying by. Kind of like that final explanation. I'm going to go down to 7 using the cell phone color chart thing. On number 7. Okay. All it says is find the ratio of black cell phone covers sold to the total number of cell phone covers sold last week. Then explain its meaning. So, black cell phone is 4. So there are 4 black covers to what is the total? No. You're totaling it up. You are adding all these up.
18.
18. 18 total covers. When it says total, you gotta add them up. Now, 4 and 18 simplify by 2. So I have 2 black covers. You can sit down and quit packing up and being so rude at this point.
And you have 8? No. Yes.
9 total covers. And then when it says explain its meaning, this is where we got to go back and use out of. 2 black covers. 9 total covers.
Yeah, I got mistakes.
Hey, if you get a math class, you're 1.7.